Hi everyone, this is Chad Hanna. I'm with eXp Realty and I am the proprietor of the Acreage Plaza eXp Realty branch office in Loxahatchee, Florida in zip code 33470 off the north side of Wellington. I come to everyone each Wednesday at 4 p.m. and we have we have a business gathering on Mondays at 4 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have our Causes United community gathering, which is from our Causes United Facebook page. So forgive me for that overlay. So here we are on past day 45 of our quarantine lifestyle. Different evolutions are taking place as to how we ease our way back into society and do so in responsible ways. And at the same time, the way that we have reinvented the way that we do business is a consistent model that will have to sustain itself and be ready for any evolutions that take place with possible reclosures or just the new way of life of virtual business. So I come to everyone every Monday so then we can recap what sort of meetings that I am privileged to be part of. And the one that I highlight is our Saturday Zoom with eXp Realty, the very high up executive board directors such as Gene Frederick. We have Scott Lewis, Rob Flick, Brent Gove, who is an incredible team leader out in California as well. And then they had two guest speakers this week, also Jay Kinder and Pat Hayes. They are tremendous leaders. Jay Kinder was the #2 in the world of Caldwell Banker. And then Pat Hayes is someone who had 62 agents when he came over with a boutique realty and now has over 3,200 agents. So there's a tremendous amount of potential within leveraging oneself. So what I do in this live call is to just recap some notes that I take throughout that, and that way anyone who doesn't have access to those Zoom calls can somehow get a little bit of a feel of what it means to be within the model of eXp Realty. Now, the model itself, it does serve the agent with great commission models and sustainable training that is always live, over 100 classes per week in the world. And it makes all the administrative roles very easygoing in terms of efficiency because there's hundreds of employees within the world that take care of all of your work for you as well and guide you through the systems that are used to conduct the work. So what we talk about in the terms of what a realtor is having as their income is always as good as their last transaction's commission, unless you are part of the top 20% of real estate. That way you have a lot of referrals, you have a machine going, and you're always making your money. And of course, you maintain all your efforts in order to keep that engine going. But for a great deal of the real estate market, it is supported by the realtors who are more transactional, maybe 5 transactions a year, and always trying to find their way through getting new business. So in addition to standard sales commission, there is the model of eXp, which is very built as well to be a developer of passive income. And that means you're leveraging all your options. Every part of your business model should be a profitable option for you. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the ambition equaling application. So when you have an ambition to really say, I've got my mind in the game and I'm going to bring it forward to how I conduct my day each day, what are my goals each day, and how do I attack them? How do I make sure that I'm making advancements on those goals on a daily basis? That is the key to eventual success, but the stamina that you need to have, the perseverance that you need to have, that's going to come from community that you feel you are connected with, that inspires you and then supports you in how that growth takes place, and then supports you through how you are applying each part of the eXp models into your business. So in an independent brokerage, there is no exit strategy. So once you would leave a brokerage, there's nothing that's going to sustain you beyond the sales commissions or the very modest type of net profit share that could be offered in such a minor way. So when I say a minor way, the revenue share that is within the eXp model is based on gross commission income. So it starts with a 3.5% straight off the top of gross commission income. And there's a whole model that gets explained further that I can always walk you through that with a private message, and then we can review those on the back of a napkin and bring you into conference calls with Gene Frederick, for example. If there is a deep interest and you really have some deep questions, then I would arrange that conference call with yourself, myself, and Gene Frederick, and we would take that call to another level. So there's many options of how you can find out your information, but I always am looking to be a guide for those that do have the intellectual capacity, which the leaders of the business world do have that ability. And when you slow yourself down enough to look at the model and see if the math works for you, you will see you have that leverage available within the eXp model. So where is the income of the general realtor going to come from in the future when maybe they have not saved all their savings to have that retirement fund or been able to invest in that investment property, have that rental income? Because in 14 years from now, you will need to have doubled your income from today to have the same lifestyle that you're enjoying today. So you can do your own math as to how that would work or how you would have to size back, but it's all depending on how you are leveraging all your options today. So this is what we bring to the table for those that are in the real estate industry to really see, how can I create another passive income in addition to my sales commissions that I can also be having a very valid revenue stream? So every day there are the regular level realtors that are having their lives change within the eXp model. And what point we bring that to is, even if a revenue share check were to be from the $1,000 to the $2,000 level, that pays people's mortgages. It contributes to their children's college funds. It pays for various bills that they otherwise don't have breathing room on. And that's what passive income does provide. So because the agents are so excited about what they're experiencing and they're feeding that forward and inviting other agents to come into eXp, they are compensated accordingly, where half of the contribution that goes to the eXp model for commission splits goes back to the agents that are involved in supporting the agents that are being brought in. So that's how that is very simply described. So when we start off with Rob Flick, his story is so tremendous of the success that has taken place that he says, I really don't always want to share that story because it's not relatable. So he always likes to bring the attention back to the realtors who are within eXp that are experiencing a modest but really life-changing type of revenue share. These other gentlemen that are on the Zoom calls have thousands of agents that have come in through their organizations within the eXp model, so they are earning over $100,000 a month and much more than that just on their revenue share stream. So it becomes a little hard to imagine how that can take place, because not everyone is looking to be able to have 1,000 friends that they might be able to influence into coming into the eXp model and finding the advantages to the support that is provided here. So it all depends on what you're able to apply your attention to. But what he says is, if you had one car for your whole life, how would you take care of it? You would really fine tune it. You would really make sure that it's well maintained. And that is what you want to do with your business as well as with your personal self. Because when you are your highest self, you bring your highest game to all that you're involved in. So every day, the agents are having a great experience with what we're teaching forward within the eXp model. Scott Lewis just brings to our attention that the opportunity is just to get moving on making phone calls that are changing lives, to be in touch with those that don't know exactly how their model is working in the favor of what their business is needing to have in order to sustain itself on multiple levels of where their revenue streams come from. Brent Gove, he speaks of being a meaningful specific. So he reads a great deal of motivational books, and meaningful specific is that you are specifically gearing yourself to what meaningful actions you're able to perform to then get closer to your goals. So have a plan. Make sure that your mindset is truly in place. That way you can know what you're doing each day. Now, we have many videos that describe various experiences. We have videos that describe the actual model. So this is easy to provide you information just to give you a little bit more education on what the models all mean. but the growth is a solid growth. There has been a lot of laughter that takes place when there is a new thinker on the horizon. So when you have inventors, when you have Henry Ford, you have Thomas Edison, there's always hemming and hawing that takes place in those experiences, but then those new inventions become a way of life. So eXp is the streaming, it is the technology disruption, it is the model that has changed the way real estate is being able to have business conducted through its virtual environments. Businesses in real estate are going to need to be virtual in the next 5 years, guaranteed within 5 years. It's just becoming a growth pattern now that makes it easier for those that are seeing that opportunity sooner than later. And because we've had this moment where we've all had to close doors for safety reasons, the virtual world never had to close its doors. So it became something that is very popular right now, and there's a great deal of brokerages that are coming to eXp that are independently owned brokerages, not necessarily the big box brokerages. And then the large team leads from larger brokerages are coming in as well, because once they review the math, the model works in their favor of the way their revenue is now coming in like they've never imagined before. So I will even say, I share these videos forward into various networking groups, and sometimes there's even a laughter emoji that takes place. And I will just say that when the intellectual individual who is a brokerage owner or a business owner or a realtor who really looks into a model of how many different ways can I create passive income to complement my sales commission, if you truly take a deeper dive, you will see how this model works and how the math works and how it works in your favor. So just before you snicker at these sorts of options, eXp is the fastest growing real estate corporation in the country, and it is expanding leaps and bounds far beyond it initially intended to do so by the times that we are now in terms of when it was 4 years ago. There were only 1,100 agents per month. And this is a point that Gene Frederick brought out, that there was only 1,100 agents in eXp 4 years ago, and now they're bringing that number of agents into eXp about every 2 weeks. So the growth is tremendous. They intended within the first 10 years of their being in business, they would have 10,000 realtors in their grouping, and now by the first 10 years, which we've just arrived in last year, they have 28,000 agents. So they're almost triple what they intended to be. So the growth and the popularity is really worthy of taking a look at, because those that do take the look at it and truly slow their minds down enough to really look deeply, they see that this enables them to refer forward eXp into other agents that they can support their business with, have great commission splits, have continuous training that is always live, and buy the highest of the icons. Icons are those that are double capped, which means they are the high producers of the country. Those are the only ones who train forward within the university, within the eXp world. And so that is always a game changer for many of the new agents that just need that training. It is always available, no matter when your doors open or shut. Those training classes are seamless and they are continuing. And we have actually increased those sort of classes. And pardon me, we're always working from home, so there's calls coming on the home line. So with that continuing to be said, 6 weeks ago we were frozen. And what that means is, again, we had our doors closed. Well, that uncertainty brought fear into everyone's worlds for many different experiences on many different industry levels: restaurant, service industry, travel and tourism, and real estate. Homes are essential. So while real estate offices needed to generally close their doors by CDC requirements, we still had to somehow serve everyone in very socially distant, responsible ways. So the virtual technology came to our assistance with 360 virtual tours, a whole new set of photography that goes beyond virtual touring. It takes you into floor plan based integrated chat groups that come into a showing and are guided by arrows to each room, that multiple viewers can be within the same viewing at the same time. So that is just a little taste of additional aspects that are available within eXp. The 360 is a monthly subscription that is complementary to the eXp agents, and so it's just another value add. So the skating where the puck is going is another cliche of sorts, if you will, that Gene Frederick used, in that where is the industry going? There's always business to be had. So even as a real estate salesperson, you know that wherever your market is, wherever in the country you are, markets are different wherever you are living. So in Florida, where we are, there is a great deal of tourism here. So there might be a little bit of an impact in one way, and in other parts of the country, there's other statistics that govern. But if there is going to be low interest rates right now, it's still a buyer's world. So you still want to follow the standard sales as it happens. As the economy has its own way of fluctuating because of what relief has gone into the economy, but then as everything builds itself back up, there are those that are 26 million unemployed that are going to have possibly some sort of need of guidance. So we as real estate advisors can advise people forward into certain lending institutions that can teach people how to save their homes, or we can short sale by specialty with short sale and foreclosure specialists within our offices as well. So there's always a specialty that you need to grow your savviness into, and those training programs are available within the world and the universities as well. So you want to skate where the puck is going. That was a little hockey term that they used during our Zoom call this weekend. So make sure that whatever opportunities are crossing your path, you don't have regrets from not having done something sooner than later. Because there are many that join eXp now that had that phone call 2-3 years ago and said, I wish I would have done it then, because those that did join years ago are now tremendously reaping the rewards. So as fast growing as eXp is, it has a long way to go where it can still get to another level of where it will be going to, and those that are building the company are the ones who are reaping those rewards through the revenue share model. That is a tremendously legitimate passive income available to those of you realtors that have a reputation within other agent groups, that by your moving into making use of the eXp model to the profits that it can bring to you as a secondary income in addition to your sales commissions, you can change other people's lives as well by referring them into what you have learned well about and applied to your business. And therefore they do the same, and it game changes their family's income as well. So this is something that you just want to get to it. You want to take that deeper dive. And yes, these calls, while they do summarize what the leadership of eXp speaks on topic of on our weekend Zoom calls, this will be looking to encourage everyone to take that time, to take that deeper dive, to do the math, because this is changing lives across the world. I say the world because we are in other countries now, and therefore there are people that are having a great deal of benefit by being able to refer people into the eXp model. So where will you be in 4 years? And Gene Frederick mentioned that because this is his 5-year anniversary that he is just now celebrating. And so again, the reference of the 1,100 agents that eXp had 4 years ago, and now adding 1,100 agents every 2 weeks, that really shows the amount of growth that takes place. And so it makes us think, where will we be in 4 years again? And where could you be in the way that that growth takes place, and how you can be profiting from it along the way? So each time a superstar real estate agent or team or brokerage signs over into the eXp landscape of the company, it changes the opportunity again because it becomes increasingly obvious. We just had Tarek of HGTV join eXp House. There's again Jay Kinder, who is the number 2 of Coldwell Banker, joining. There's one after another of this sort of level of real estate that is coming into the eXp Corporation. So when those that come in who have been getting followed, being trained by and having partaken in the world as a whole in the real estate world, when they come over and they start to take advantage of the extra passive income, everyone else sees, well, there must be something to that. So this creates the growth even faster. So just know, in the region of South Florida, our office is very well aligned with other large influential realtors who have come into eXp. So from down in Boynton, we have the Saperstein Group. In Weston, we have the Melissa Miller Group. In Jupiter, we have the Brett Bogie and Jody Bogie. And so we come together when our walls have not been closed, and we have our lunch and learns. And we all do this as a core value of sharing our knowledge, sharing our information, and creating venues where others can come together. We do not have the brick and mortar mentality where we're only trying to preserve our local environment. We are growing because we're growing as a company, because we also have stock as another part of our profit. And wherever stock is going, that's only speculation. And by SEC standards, we're not allowed to say where we believe it's supposed to be going, but we're very confident in it because we all have a united cause. The bigger the business gets, the more our stock is worth. So our stock gets to be increased. And so I know our family has a handful of thousand shares. That means a lot to us. When with the passive income of bringing agents in and supporting them through being eXp agents, that passive income means a lot to us. And then standard business evolution as well in representing our communities and the farm areas that we serve. That means a lot to us. So you have to make sure that your ambition is intentional and is applied, and that you are meaningfully specific, as we were phrasing that earlier. So I just ask, let me help you through that process. It is a step-by-step, very simple process, and even as you're investigating the information, there's no obligation to doing that, and it's worth taking that deeper dive. So with the gatherings that I have, I always say I throw a little bit of trivia in there or a little bit of real estate fun facts, so I'll take a little breather to share that with you. I came across something today which is a matter of service, because one thing that I've grown into as a business is that while we had to take ourselves back a little bit and just be a little quieter in what we're doing to restructure how we do business. So of course our virtual world is very efficient and we dove right into that, but also with our community, we dove into community representation of those that needed to stay in the front of those eyes for nonprofits. So being public caused, which is what brought along the Causes United page that we brought out to support our local organizations that are supported by the public through nonprofit capacity and establishments that serve our local community. This jumped out to me as the fun fact of real estate to share with you. So Mike Ilitch, which is the owner of Little Caesars and the Detroit Tigers, quietly paid Rosa Parks rent for more than a decade after she was robbed in her home and forced to move to a safer but more expensive part of Detroit. So that was just something that had to do with philanthropy, and philanthropy, I feel, is something that I enjoy, and it complements our business because it makes us genuine. If you are a realtor or you're a real estate business, you care about your community. You care about those that you can serve forward, because people who have homes, it is the greatest privilege as a real estate agent to know that you've created a home sweet home for a family. And so to also be able to support other aspects of your community, it is a pleasure to do so. So when someone was able to help someone else because of a hardship that they endured, that was something that just rang very beautiful to me. So now I'll dive into Jay Kinder. So when he spoke in the Zoom call this weekend, he again is the former #2 Caldwell Banker in the World agent. So what he is saying is, once you see the eXp model, you can't unsee it. You have it ingrained in you as to, wow, all the work I do as a true producing realtor, what that could actually translate into in dollars and cents is just, again, night and day. Whatever the commission split is, you immediately are making 100% if you're a producer in no time. Oftentimes, many of the high producers, they cap within their first couple of weeks or a month, and then they're always 100% from thereafter. But what they're able to do and the way that they serve by bringing their other agents into the eXp fold is that they are able to make the most of the model as well, and the passive income supersedes any other type of revenue share that is available, but it complements their business and often is able to reinvest into other aspects of their business because it is passive income. So that is one thing that he was saying, is that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And he also said, and I know this to be true, that everyone has heard about the eXp model. So while you've heard that name eXp out there, but you haven't actually taken a deeper look, then you don't understand what the model truly has to offer to you. So don't be so busy that you can't take a moment to take what then you would realize to be the massive action that your business could completely thrive from. So slow your mind down. Don't be such a cynic in terms of laughing at a potential unknown name that maybe you did not know about before, but come into the opportunity of analysis and then see what it is and how you can make it work for you. So leverage your business with your reputation. The better your business gets, the less time you have for your family. This is something that he brought out as well, that by growing your business, you wind up pulling yourself away from the things that you enjoy doing the most because you've actually gotten what you wanted, but now you have to serve that entire need. So there's aspects to how you can leverage your business so that when you do have a particular either exit plan or a leveling plan where you get to a certain plateau of, I'm satisfied with this level of service of business. I also am grateful that I have my passive income from those agents that I was able to encourage to come into the eXp model. I support them as well. And then maybe when you get to this level of your business, of sales commission based business, you then create a referral business. So then you're managing how you're spending your time, because your real goal in life is to do what you enjoy doing most. And for each of us, that's a different answer. But you cannot enjoy what you enjoy doing most if you're always trying to earn the income to sustain your life. And if over the next 14 years you're having to double your income to have the same lifestyle you have today, then that just means you're never really getting off that hamster wheel unless you figure out a separate level of where your income is going to come from. So keep that in mind. One thing that they used a fun story about is that a fish only is familiar with a perspective of one sort. They only know what life is going on under the water. But until they come up to the surface and maybe peek their head out of the water, do they realize there's an entire world above that water's surface. So learn what is above the water. Take yourself out of what you think real estate and how real estate is conducted and think that that's the only way real estate can be conducted. And now that you're hearing about this technological disruption of an eXp model and how it is changing the way that real estate is being done, because they have truly harnessed the virtual side of real estate transactions and employment and real estate without borders, meaning you don't have a brick and mortar that you are held to a territory or that you are governed by one individual team lead of one specific farming area. You can bring your world out into everywhere that eXp has, because even Jay Kinder, he has agents that span almost every state of the United States and even into other parts of the world. So you can encourage agents from beyond your local vicinity simply by making life-changing phone calls and somehow finding who these other members are or who you might have as family that is in another state, and encourage them to come into eXp as well because of what you're experiencing. So you can leverage your business in many different ways, but you're going to have to come above the water to understand there's a whole nother world out there, and it's taking place now. So the tallest people have the deepest calls. What that means is that we truly have the resource to bring you into conference calls with the highest of the eXp leadership. So I have a beautiful relationship that I'm very grateful for, that I've been able to even on a Saturday call Gene Frederick up and say, I've got a gentleman who's coming into the office right now. Can we have a conference call with him? And within 5 minutes, we're having a just getting to know each other conversation. Because not everything is about all the details of the business, but it's about, do you trust the one that you're talking to, that what they're telling you is actually true? So I don't like to have that responsibility only on me. I'd rather bring that conversation to the ones that are on the board of directors of eXp, so then you're hearing it straight from the sources. I am just a messenger who brings you to those opportunities for those sorts of conversations, and it's a great privilege to do so. Now, revenue share changes lives. What Jay's change of life was on what revenue share did for him is he communicated how he set this audacious goal with his wife. His wife is previously from the physical therapy industry, and she was on the corporate side of it, and she was constantly busy out in the field. And she said to Jay, once he joined into eXp, this part of eXp's passive income, it can really help me retire out of the physical therapy world. And that within a year is exactly what they did. So he built his world of agent passive income into the thousands of agents as well, and that now his wife was able to retire. So for those of you realtors who truly have a business operation that has a reputation into other realtors that trust your choices as well, you can truly change other people's lives by taking the look yourself into what you could make the best of it, but then how could you help someone else make the best of their business? Because that's when it really gets exciting, is that whatever change you experience, you're teaching that forward. Because to be privileged is an indulgence that we give to ourselves once we get to that place. But if we don't bring everyone else forward with us, then that's a shallow accomplishment, because all you did was serve yourself. So when you're a person of service, you look for ways to serve forward, and this is one of those times. So I will digress into one more fun fact, and then I'll conclude with Pat Hayes' story as well. Fun fact number 2 is from 1908 to 1940, Sears, Roebuck and Company sold about 70 to 75,000 mail order houses. They arrived as a kit and came with most modern conveniences. Some of them still exist today. So that jumped out at me, because who would think of such a type of housing? And for Sears to do that at the beginning of the turn of the 20th century, it was unheard of. And people were going to build their own houses. You could only imagine what the construction world was saying about that, and how they laughed at that possibility as well. Turns out that a great deal of success, a great deal of families, and a great deal of sustainable housing was able to be provided for that exact type of purpose, and they still exist today. So nothing is ever impossible, and nothing is ever too big of an idea. But if that idea truly gets applied to systems and verifiable outcomes, then it's something worthwhile to look at, because it can very well be the experience that changes your life, your business's stability, and the lives of others that you would then be able to refer forward. So then to bring us into Pat Hayes, who had 62 agents and now has over 3,000 agents in his influence of his group, that is an amazing achievement. And he is saying, Scott Lewis, who is on the Zoom call as well, is who called him 53 months ago. And what he finds to be fun is that he counts every month forward since he became eXp, because it was that big of a difference in his life that he's that tremendously grateful for the moment that it actually happened in his life. So the first phone call that he got by Scott Lewis 53 months ago, he forever is grateful for that call, because it changed his life. And there's a lot of those type of stories that take place of when that time happened in someone's business and where it took their business, and how they're then being able to say, wow, thank goodness I took that phone call seriously, or thank goodness I didn't shut the door on that thought and I just took a little bit of a deeper dive into it. So that's where this is an opportunity for everyone that knows other real estate agents to take this model into the conversation of that table talk with those other agents. And just after you take your deep dive and analysis and you do the math, feed that forward and teach it again. But use those that influenced you to feed those people into conversations with those individuals, the way that I refer everything into Gene Frederick's world, where you can get that information from a source that you can truly believe that what is being shared with you is what is actually true. So you want to make sure that you take a deep dive, but you take it in a very verifiable way. So the eXp model, in the words of Pat Hayes, is a no-brainer, especially for the producing agents as well. But a small team is now serving members of thousands of people within a team. And that just means that you're supporting them through many of the other systems that are within eXp that provides connection. So Workplace is one of those connections, which is one of the largest users of Facebook groups out of the Facebook organization. That is the eXp's world, where many different types of groups for each state and many different purposes all come together and connect and collaborate, in addition to the live training that is within the world. So there are also big events that eXp holds. So for those events, even though a lot of events have been canceled, eXp's events have not been canceled. They have just been created in virtual worlds and environments. So when you hear about those events, or we feed forward that events are taking place, accept an invitation into those events, because that's when you hear special information, special stories, special advancements that are taking place, and it really resonates what this movement is all about. So while you're taking your deeper dive, take the dive to all the different resources you have available to you, from events to conference calls to hard copy information. This is what we do when we walk people forward in being educated about eXp. There are a lot of great companies that are out there. All the names that are out there has something that a lot of people make a lot of good use of. But where can you go that you can build another stream of passive income and earn stock? So take the deeper dive, do the deeper math, and when I make those phone calls, or you get a phone call from someone from eXp, that can be a life-changing phone call. So just have the conversation, have fun with the conversation. You can laugh about where the direction of the conversation goes, but be humble enough to see that there could be potential within that phone call, and just see where it can lead and take it to the best level that you can take it. So slow down, take the look, see how the model can work, because what if this opportunity is really what we're all saying that it can be? So compound your leverage, because what we're doing is we are taking people that are truly established and helping them build the company through that kind of reputation, because reputation begets more reputation. I'm going to keep this live a little shorter this time around, because I want to make sure that those of you that start listening stay till the very end and listen to it through. So if you did not catch this on the live, then listen to it throughout the whole process of it, because the video is able to be listened to in hindsight. I am Chad Hanna with eXp Realty in Loxahatchee in the Acreage Plaza. My phone number is 561-602-2323. You can text me, private message me. I can send you a guest pass into the world, meet you in there, give you the tour, arrange phone calls for others that you can have the opportunity to have great conversations with as well. And I look forward to speaking with you. May you stay safe and always ambitious while applying all of your best traits. Have a great afternoon.